Hey guys, I just wanted to jump on really quick. I was going to make a graphic about this, but decided, I kind of would rather encourage you a little bit more in person, even though it's not totally in person. Well, you can pretend. So, I don't exactly remember where this came from this week, but was reading something, maybe it was a post or something on Facebook, and someone had said that they had basically had made a decision because they were afraid of something, that something else was going to happen. They were afraid that they were going to lose something, so they made this decision. They were afraid, whatever it was, and it just really struck me how much we make decisions based on fear. And I actually don't know that that's the best, and it is not. It is not the best way to be leading our lives and to be living our lives, especially in business and other ways as well. But we're going to talk about business. I just want to encourage you guys to not let fear make decisions for you in your business. Okay. When we do that, and I've been there, we've probably all been there, right? When we do that, we tend to bounce from one thing to another thing because it's like, oh my gosh, how are we going to get? I need money now. And so I'm thinking that I'm letting that fear make decisions for me instead of going, okay, I do need money now, and that is a problem I need to solve, but I'm going to have that same problem next month and the month after that and the month after that. So let's think long term and actually have a strategy and a plan in place. And usually when we're allowing fear to make decisions for us, we're not um, putting in a plan in that we're not considering to put a plan in place to actually deal with that fear and not let that fear instead it controls us. It controls those decisions that we're making rather than clear thinking, wisdom, even experience and things like that. So you can go to other people to help you make those decisions if you need to. But I just wanted to encourage you to not let fear make the decisions for you in your business. Um, we have a family motto. I am not at liberty to say how it became a motto because it has to do with one of my children. However, our family motto is do it afraid. And one thing in my own life where that had already been established as our motto, but let's see, 13, 14, 15 years ago, maybe it was 15 years ago this year. I don't remember anymore, but I was in a pretty serious car accident where a semi truck ran a red light and hit the door. The driver was driving our Suburban. It hit the driver's door right on, just just like that, and made my car slide down like a block. It was a mess. And thankfully, I walked away from it. But I did have injury, and it took 3 years to get through all that. But what had happened was I had my kids were at school. My oldest was at a it's like a hybrid school for homeschooling, and it was a private school. And my younger two were at our church at a preschool. My youngest, it was his first day there, and he tended to struggle with some anxiety. And so it was a big deal that he was there, and he was only there for the last couple hours, what they called lunch bunchers. Well, I had run some errands, and I was real close by to the church, and I thought, well, I'm going to stop by this store real quick, pick up some things that we need, and then I'll go pick up the kids. So I was leaving the parking lot, and I decided to not come out of the parking lot to cross this major road, kind of like a little highway, without a light. Instead, I drove around to go to the light, thinking that was just a safer option. And all those things just kind of happen in the moment, when you're trying to decide which driveway am I going to go out of the parking lot. So I went around to the light and noticed there was a little white car sedan behind me, and I was in a Suburban, right? And so I didn't usually go this way. This store was on the other side of where we lived, like the church, then the store was here, and we lived on this side. So we would tend to do our shopping on the other side of town. But this is where I was. So I'm at this light, right? And the light turns green. I look to see, I am a safe driver. I looked to see if there's any traffic coming, and I didn't see anything. Everybody was stopped. And so I went. Well, what happened was there was a box truck, a semi kind of box truck, that was stopped at the light, but it was blocking my view to the next lane. And that's where the semi came through. I didn't even see him coming. I mean, totally just hit me out of surprise. Well, anyway, all to say, it took me a long time to go back through that intersection, but I wanted to share, I knew that I needed to do it. It's like getting back on the horse, even though it wasn't a way that I usually would drive. Occasionally we did go that way. And I remember one time in particular, I had all the kids in and I deliberately chose to go home that way. I didn't really want to, but I deliberately chose to. I didn't tell them what I was doing. And so my kids are like, I don't know, let's see, 3. My youngest had just turned 3. So 3, 5, and 8. Okay. They're all in the car. I didn't tell them. They obviously known I was in a car accident before and all that. But I remember I drove through that intersection and I was like, I just yelled, I did it afraid. And they're like, what are you talking about? But they knew at the same time. And I told them, I said, that was the intersection where my accident was. And it was hard for me to drive through there again because I was afraid of silly things. Like, what are the chances it's going to happen again? But that has just been our family motto to try to recognize, and we don't always catch it, but try to recognize what is it that is holding me back, and is that fear driven? That is not a way to manage your business. It's not a way to make decisions for your business. And I think in our time right now, there's a lot of fear that's around. And so I just want to encourage you guys to really be intentional, to think, okay, I do not want my business or my life to be fear driven. So what do I need to do? And I'm going to do it afraid. And if you guys do, let us celebrate with you. I would love to. You don't have to share the story, but if you want to just post, hey, I did it afraid today. Every day there are things that we face that put us out of our comfort zone, and for us to be deliberate, to just like hit it head on. It's empowering, honestly, because you realize you can do things that you didn't think you could do. And once you get to the other side, it's not so bad. One more really quick example. I used to hate, and I still, it doesn't bother me anymore, actually. I used to hate being on video. I actually can't stand FaceTime, but getting on a Zoom call with somebody, I love it because, it's usually with someone that I don't have the opportunity to go sit and have coffee with or something like that. So it's a way for me to connect. But years ago, when most people didn't Zoom, and that was kind of a new thing, there was a group of 4 of us. We were planning something, and it really made sense for us to get on a Zoom call. And I had played every excuse in the book to try to avoid it and just call in and do audio. I was so nervous about a video call. And I mean, I was so nervous. It was horrible. And it was so bad. Well, anyway, I had my office, and I couldn't get around it anymore. And I'm like, fine, I got to do this. I've got to do it. And so I kicked my whole family out. I told them, take the dog with you. I don't want the dog barking. I don't want to hear any noise. I cleaned my office. So it was totally clean. So the background, everything was good. And I got on the call and I was a nervous wreck. And then at the end of the call, I had so much fun because you get to interact with people differently than you do when you're just talking. I don't like even talking on the phone. I'd rather do a Zoom call. But but at the time, oh my gosh. But anyway, I got off that call and I sat there and I laughed. I just laughed. I thought that was so much fun. I have been sitting here dreading this because I was afraid, and yet it was fun. And that's usually what we find, is that it empowers us when we've gone through something. We've done it afraid. We made that choice to be brave. Being brave doesn't mean that you're not afraid. Having courage, it's not courage if you're not afraid about it, right? Otherwise it takes no courage. You guys are, let me encourage you. I want to give you courage. You can do what you need to do. Make decisions not based from fear. Make decisions that are strategic and that are planned out. Even if you don't end up sticking to the plan, it's okay. Just don't be driven by fear in growing your business, or even really in your life. Just wanted to encourage you, and post if you have done something afraid today. Just put, I did it afraid. I'd love to hear. That just makes me happy to know other people are doing it too. All right. Have a great weekend, guys.